R8, M6, R8, M6. Let's do the Stormtrooper. Wait, that's both. Let's do the red interior. Wait, that's both. Let's go M6 today. So we are off to a place where I need the valet, and we're off to a Del Frisco Double Eagle. And side note, a Double Eagle is a double story, 2 stacked Del Frisco. Not all Del Friscos are Double Eagles. If you have a chance, go check one out. Unbelievable steak and just as good atmosphere. Okay, I'm gonna digress. We're gonna get right into valet. If you need the valet, you need to do a couple things if you respect your car. If you don't respect your car, then just flip this off because this doesn't apply to you. But if you want your car to be treated with respect, and I don't care if it is a P1 McLaren or a smart car, if you want respect for your car, you need to do a couple things. Number one, go in with a positive attitude. If you project negativity, if you prophesize horror stories that could happen or horror stories that you've heard, or if you go in with a negative attitude about the valet not knowing your car, not going to respect it, or he's going to joyride it, this will emanate from you in your body language and your tone of voice, and they will pick up on that. And in return, they're going to meet that force with their force, and you're more likely than not to get a bad experience. So, number one, go with a positive attitude. If you've had bad experiences before, have amnesia about it, okay? You are valeting for a reason. If you continue to pull up into valet, you're going to take the risk of something happening, okay? You are assuming that risk. So if you're assuming that risk, you want to do the most you can do to assure that you're going to negate any possible risk. Number one, positive attitude. Be friendly to the valet. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a snob. Assume he can knows your car, assume he loves cars just as much as you, and assume that he's a good person. Even if they're not, you must assume this or you're going to drive yourself crazy. The whole two, and this is the most important thing, and this is where most people go wrong. Always tip your valet at the start and always overpay, okay? Always tip your valet at the start and always overpay. Okay, now those are two things within one category. Number one, tip your valet at the start. Have you ever received a survey in the mail and there was a quarter or a dollar attached to it? What's the logic behind that? What's the psychology? Well, what they're doing is they're hoping to buy your guilt, or they're hoping to buy a peace of mind. Okay, if you get a quarter or a dollar with a survey attached in the mail, what they're doing is you're hoping that you are a good person and you're going to complete that for them. The same type of rationale works with a valet. If you pay it forward, right, they're getting their money ahead of time, they know that you paid, they know that you tipped, and therefore they're going to respect your car and give you a lot more respect ahead of time, right? Number two, overpay. And I don't care what type of car you have, overpay, if you care about your car. Now, I'm not saying you have to throw them a $100 bill, I'm not saying you have to throw them a $50. But a lot of valets here in Southern California are about $7 to $10 flat fee, or there's an hourly rate. But if you're there for an hour or two, typically it's under $20. It may range between $9 and $14. Regardless of what it is, I'm throwing them a 20 or 30 every single time, and I'm paying it forward. Number one, you're going above and beyond and tipping for exceptional service ahead of time. So you're getting their attention. They can see that you care about them. They can see that they care about your car, and they're going to give you more respect for that, okay? Number two, they know exactly the tip they got. They aren't going to be concerned about whether you're a jerk or whether you're going to tip or not tip. They know moving forward that you are a good customer, you've treated them well, and in turn, they are more likely to treat you well. So to recap, you want to be nice, you want to be friendly, you want to have amnesia about any past negative experiences, you want to project positivity, you want to tip ahead of time, and you want to tip over the amount. And I don't care if it's $5 over, $10 over, $15 over, you'd be surprised about how many people skimp on tipping valets, and you're talking about a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $20,000. I don't care how much your car is, $5,000. If your car is important to you and it's an asset or even a liability, you need to treat them well. Okay, so the first tip is to be positive and be friendly and don't be negative. The second tip is to give a little extra. The third tip is don't assume that your car is the best car at valet. It very well could be. But also don't forget that your car is most important to you and it might not be that important to everyone else. So in order to gain someone else's trust, don't overcompensate by exerting how great your car is or how important it is to you. A car is important to most people. It's their mode of transportation, they have a monthly payment for it, they've paid money to get it. It's a big part of their daily life. they know that your car is important. You don't need to overemphasize that. Overemphasizing that may swing momentum out of your favor. The fourth rule is to be direct. And if you want a little extra attention, if you want your car to be parked out front, if you want your car to be parked a certain way, tell them, but be nice about it. Tell them that you want to pay an extra $60, keep it out front. Tell them you're only going to be 30 minutes. Let them know if there's a certain way or if something is wrong with the car, if it starts a certain way or if it has a tendency to do something, let them know. They deal with cars a lot. They're very sound people with a lot of acumen in automotive, but they don't know everything, and they certainly don't know the nuances of your car. They're not psychic. So if you like it parked out front, or if you need to do a certain thing, or if you want them to warm it up ahead of time, let them know and they can do it for you. Also understand that there is a valet etiquette. And I've never worked at valet, I only use valet, but I can tell you that there's a certain etiquette where if you have the best car and there's only one spot out front and a new car shows up, the best car gets to remain out front. It helps the establishment look better with the nicest vehicles parked out front. So if you have a Mercedes and a Pagani Huayra pulls up, don't be upset that they move your car out front. That's just the valet code. I didn't write the rules, I just report on them. So if you have an M6 and an S63 pulls up, you better believe that they're going to replace that car with the best one. That's what I've seen usually. I'm not saying that there aren't nuances or subtleties among different valet places, but from what I've seen is that the nicest car, and this is up to them. If you have a Trackhawk Jeep that's 700 horsepower and you walk up to see an older model M5 out in front, the valet might not know your exact car. A lot of them might, but some might not. But generally speaking, the best car, or most expensive car, best, most expensive, that is up for debate, gets to remain out front. So if there's 2 or 3 spots, it's survival of the fittest in that regard. Last but not least, don't tip everyone. Like wait staff, like bartenders, valets split tips. So don't be concerned about one guy opened my door, now another guy closed it, one guy picked it up, another guy dropped it off. Guys are working together as a team. So don't feel that you gave one guy extra attention and the other guy didn't get any. It all goes in one big pool at the end. And here's a bonus tip. Sometimes if I'm a little wary of the valet or I want extra attention, I will bribe them. And when I say bribe them, I might give them 20 now and 20 later. Or say, hey, keep it out front, here's 20 now and I'll hook you up when I get back. And if I get back and the car's still out front and they took a good care of it, then I give them extra 20 or 40 or whatever it is. If you drive nice cars, if you want your car taken care of, you need to understand you're gonna have to pay for it, all right? So if you want the utmost respect for yourself and your car at valet, do these 5 things. Be nice, over tip, be direct, don't assume that your car is the best, and don't tip everyone. And also remember that there's a valet code. And if you do all these things, you'll be sure to make your next valet experience a pleasurable one.